Welcome to Beyond Energetics, the podcast where we explore the unseen forces that shape our lives. I'm Sarah, and together we'll journey into the depths of energy, intuition, and transformation. In each episode, we'll uncover how subtle energies influence our daily experiences, delve into practices that enhance our intuitive abilities, and discuss how aligning with these forces can lead to profound personal growth and health. Whether you're new to the world of energy or looking to deepen your understanding, this space is for you. So settle in, open your mind, and let's embark on this transformative journey together. Hi everyone, welcome to another episode of Beyond Energetics. I'm so grateful you are here. Today we are going to hop back into basics. What that means is we're going to learn about your energetic body, how to heal it, how to align with it, and how to unlock its inner wisdom. And that inner wisdom lives within all of us. It's completely accessible, and it can really play a profound role in your world and your life, both business and pleasure. So let's dive in. Your energy body that we all have, it's all around us, right? We are energy. Energy is indestructible. Our energetic body holds profound wisdom. And when we learn to really read its signals, we can transform not only how we feel, but how we think and how we move through life. In this episode of Beyond Energetics, we're going to really guide you into understanding those layers of your energy body and how it communicates with your nervous system, and learn also practical ways to release what's stuck to restore flow. Now, we're going to really understand how to sense and read the messages of your energetic body, but also we're going to implement daily practices so that we can clear blockages and restore alignment. And just to let you know, I hate that word blockages, but for lack of better words at this moment in time, we're going to refer to a stagnation in energy or a lesser vibration of energy as a blockage, just for ease today. We're also going to dive into the connection between your energetic body, your intuition, and your emotional well-being. You're going to learn tools that I love to activate your innate energetic guidance and that inner wisdom that lives within you and is accessible to you when you know the right tools and the right keys to unlock those pathways. So, whether you are feeling drained today, whether you are feeling scattered, or maybe just curious about these unseen forces that surround us and that are really shaping your life, this episode is going to give you actionable tools so that we can really tap into the intelligence of your own energetic body and step into more of an aligned and empowered version of yourself. As always, if you wouldn't mind giving this podcast a 5-star review or leave a comment, share, give it a like, it really helps me get the word out and these educational tools out to others that might be looking for these resources. I don't earn anything from this podcast, so simply sharing and liking really benefits others. And that is my goal here. No one should ever have to heal alone. So if we can share, that would be fantastic. And you can always listen to this if you're not viewing it on YouTube. You can always listen on all your favorite streaming platforms, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, wherever you find your podcasts. Okay. You can always work one-on-one with me at Healing with Sarah and Beyond Energetics on Instagram. I do see clients from around the world one-on-one to individually enhance their energetic body and really release anything generationally or within their own energetic body in this lifetime to find ease, whether you're fighting dis-ease, disease, or stress. I'm here to help you along that path to finding more ease within your day-to-day life. So in order to really understand our energetic body, let's start with the toroidal, I can never say it right. Bear with me. Toroidal field. I think of it as a donut. It's a bunch of energy that is moving up and around, down and back up and through you. It goes in a motion both vertically and horizontally. So you're continuously having this energy moving up and around and through, but also out and around you. You're being completely encased with this motion, this energy, this magnetic field or spinning donut of light that surrounds your body. This cool thing I think about the toroidal field, I'm having a hard time today, is that it's never static. It's really dynamic. And what's also really cool is that in many spiritual traditions, circulating energy helps integrate the physical, emotional, and spiritual layers of healing, intuition, and manifestation. So if you're big into manifestation, it's really important to really start to understand your energetic field, start to get in tune with it, and start to really hone in on who you are and what's within your energetic body, because it's going to allow you to vibrate at the same frequency of those things you're trying to manifest. You want to feel fully what it is you're trying to call into your life. So understanding the energetics is usually the missing piece of manifesting. So when we're moving through our everyday, your energy field really flows freely. You're going to feel really grounded and centered and connection, but sometimes we have disruptions, right? We are human beings living on this planet, and it's very much going to happen to every single person where we experience something that is upsetting or is a little bit harder to digest. And that's where a disruption in energy happens, right? We might go from feeling grounded to feeling a little bit anxious or overwhelmed or sad or fatigued or just emotionally drained. So those things all play a part in our energetic field and that toroidal field up and around us. Now, within this self-sustaining yet connected energy loop that is around us and moves through us, there's different layers. So we have our aura, we have our chakra, we have our meridians, and other subtle pathways of energetic flow throughout our body and throughout us. So when we think of the energetic field, we want to think of it as a whole system that includes different aspects and different parts. So just like you would have a car, and a car is a whole, it also has an engine, it has multiple different things that are causing and allowing that car to move at a regulated state. And when something isn't working, say your brake pads deteriorate, you're going to have a little bit of a glitch in the system of flow within that vehicle, just as though our energy body is a vehicle to propel us through life. When we move through something that is a little bit disruptive, we're going to have to kind of fine tune and see what's going on there so that we can bring freely that movement of energy back in and around and through our bodies. So when we talk about the energetic field, it is this overarching field of circulating energy that moves around and through our body. And within that energetic field, we have chakras. And chakras are like, I don't know, vortexes or energetic hubs within this field. I like to describe chakras as like brand new CDs. When you get a CD, you open it up and there's not a scratch, there's not a fingerprint. It is not going to skip in the CD player. I'm aging myself here. But when we're born, I look at it the same way. We're born, our energy, our chakras are spinning balls of energy. There is nothing within that field that has yet caused a disruption. We don't have anything that is scratching our CDs just yet. However, when we move through life, we tend to experience life, which causes little bumps in our road or scratches on our CDs, our chakras. So when we think of the chakras as spinning balls of energy down the midline of our center, and we're just going to focus on the seven chakras within our body, when those become a little bit disrupted, so to speak, when we feel as though we've moved through something in life that has caused a little bit of heartache or loss, say we've been waiting all week because Dad promised he'd take us for ice cream on Friday after school, and it's Friday. We're finally going to go for ice cream. And that ice cream, we walk out of the parlor and it falls on the ground. We love ice cream, and it's our favorite thing in the whole wide world. We're at the age where we can love something just as strongly as anything in life just as strongly as our mom or our dad. This ice cream is right up there. However, when it fell, something we loved is now lost. And so that's our first experience, maybe of grief in our life. And say we move through life, and a couple years later, maybe grandma passes away. That grief now builds on top of the other grief of the ice cream. So we got a little bit of a little glitch in the CD. The spinning chakra is maybe kind of skipping just a little bit for a millisecond, or maybe it's slowing down a little bit. And then say our best friend moves away. Maybe we break up with a boyfriend or girlfriend. Maybe our parents' divorce. All these things are now compiling. So when we begin to lose things that we love, or they pass on, or they leave our life, we can experience grief, but we can grow to be an adult who now is scared to love because everything we love has left. That's the lesson we've learned, and that's affected our heart chakra. So now we have this wall up, we have this stagnation of energy within our heart because it's not vibrating at that same frequency that we were birthed into. So now it's a little bit stagnant. So if we're bringing in the image of the CD might be glitching, it might be skipping, it might be not playing because there's fingerprints all over it. That's what happens with our energy body. Our energy begins to get clouded. The other way I look at this is when we talk about the aura. The aura is a radiating expression of the energetic field. It's layers of energy that extend outwards. So the chakra system moves from the perineum up to the crown, and the aura moves outwards. So think of it as like sandwich layers outwards. So the aura is radiating its expression of energy outwards. And it also, like the chakra system, reflects emotional, mental, and spiritual states. So if we're walking through life, I want you to imagine you're walking through life in a Velcro suit. And you can walk into a room, and I think we've all done that. We've walked into a room and we felt as though something was just off. Something didn't feel right. That energy sticks to us because we're Velcro. So we're going to take that in. Say we're sitting with a loved one who is in the hospital. All the energies, everything we witness, see, feel, sense within that room sticks to us, and we can start to feel heavy. If we have a parent that is always screaming and yelling or is going through a mental health issue of their own, we can take that on as the child and it sticks to us. And that's where it not only affects the energy body within, but around us as well. So we really do walk through grocery stores and everything like a piece of Velcro, and things stick to us. And that allows our energy to then become a little bit stagnant. It's like we're getting slimed, and we need to take off the lint from the Velcro. We need to clear out that energetic field. And we also have meridians and pathways within our body that are like highways and rivers that run through us, helping energy to move and distribute and communicate through our system. And sometimes when we're moving that energy, like if you have pain in your knee, when I work with individuals, a lot of time they'll have pain in their knee. Well, if it's on that right side, that's the masculine side, right? All have a feminine and masculine energetic component to us. And that right side is our masculine body. And what I've found is the knee, for whatever reason, seems to be associated with grief within the clients that I personally see. So when we're working with energy within the body, and if we have this stagnation of grief within our energetic body, and it's starting to cause those CDs, those meridian or those chakras to slow its distribution, and the meridians and pathways to then slow. It's like having stones kind of tossed into the river. These pebbles become boulders, and so the energy that's moving through the body is no longer flowing freely. So then you can have a buildup in and around the knee that is causing these circulation routes to then become stagnant. It's like a traffic jam, and it's all compiling within the knee that is causing the sensation of pressure. So a lot of the times when I'm working one-on-one with someone, I'll place my hands around their knee in different ways, different formations, and move with the hip and into the feet, and we'll start to move that energy. And a lot of the times we'll have an emotional response to the shifting and the unplugging or the removing of those pebbles or boulders within that energetic meridian or energy pathway, right? The nadis, the meridians, it's like plucking those boulders out of the rivers and off of the highways. So that can be very much a release that some people feel. So rather than imagining chakras and the aura as floating things that are detached from each other, it's probably more accurate to see them as functions of the same living field. They all have different expressions of how energy organizes and flows and communicates, but altogether they are communicating within each other to allow our body to live and breathe and vibrate at a frequency that keeps us in a place of health and ease. So simply put, the energetic field, think of it as like an ocean. The chakras are the currents, and the aura is the way in which the water moves and reflects around us. Some people are just very vibrant and alive, and you can see that. And others, you can feel like they're very angry. That's what the energy is putting out there. So when we look at the energy body, we have to, just like that card, know that it is a piece of the puzzle that's continuing to keep things flowing and in good health and in good rhythm. They're not separate systems, they are in constant conversation. And on top of that, we have the nervous system as one of the primary ways which this conversation between all these moving parts becomes visible and felt. So the energy body communicates first through sensations. First, we feel things before we can rationalize. This has been studied in the Heart Math Institute as well. We feel things before we rationalize or really know what's actually going on. So through felt sensations is how we receive our first form of communication, which tells you how important your energetic field is. So before our mind labels an experience, the body feels it. It could feel like a tightening in your chest or a we need to get out of here sensation. It could feel like a flutter in the belly or a heaviness on the shoulders. So many people carry so much on their shoulders or in their back. You can have back pain because you're constantly carrying what's not yours to carry, or you're feeling that grief from years ago, right? That back body, the past, it kind of sits there. So when you feel a sense of contraction or expansion, sometimes that can be that first sense of decoding what's actually moving in and around you, what you're experiencing. So when energy is able to flow smoothly, your nervous system is really going to receive signals of safety, of coherence, and presence. But when your energy becomes stuck or overwhelmed, the nervous system is going to shift into protection. You're going to move into that state of fight, flight, fawn, or freeze, or even shut down, where we just stay in bed. We go into that hobbit hole and we sit there and really start to isolate ourselves because our nervous system doesn't have the capacity to handle anymore. We are at our maximum capacity. So the nervous system is pretty cool because it acts like a translator between the subtle and the physical. It's going to interpret those subtle energetic cues and turn them into psychological responses. It's going to change the way in which you breathe. It's going to curate muscle tension. It's going to affect your heart rate, right? I think many of us have had experience of white coat syndrome, where all of a sudden we become anxious. We can see our heart rate on a monitor. We can also reverse that through thought, through intention, through really regulating our nervous system. Our digestion is also heavily impacted on our nervous system and our energetic body, as well as our emotional tone. So whether we're responsive or reactive can really be curated or read, or we can understand why we're feeling that way through what our nervous system is doing, right? We're going to feel more reactive if we're at our capacity. So this is why it's really important to be aware of unresolved energetic experiences and know that they can show up as chronic tension, anxiety, fatigue, or emotional reactivity. And the nervous system has really learned through these experiences to stay alert and really store that energetic information within us. So if we've experienced something in childhood repetitively, that we can't make a mistake or we're going to get in big trouble. So then when we make the smallest mistake as an adult, we might be overcompensating and just automatically going to, oh, I'm so sorry, I'm so sorry, I'm so sorry, I'm so sorry, so sorry. And someone might be like, hey, it's really okay. You made a mistake. It's really not a big deal. That could be your body's response to a stored emotional experience or unresolved energetic experience as well. So over time, patterns in the energetic body become patterns in the body and form behaviors. Now, this also happens when we have physical ailments. I've shared my story. If you haven't listened to it, go have a listen. It's the very first episode I ever have done on Beyond Energetics. And I share my story about how my energetic body was in dis-ease, which actually caused disease within my body. And once I removed myself and began to heal my energetic body and really began to ground myself and become aware of my nervous system responses to external stimuli, I was able to bring my physical body into the state of ease and health. And since then, I've been off all medications for an autoimmune disorder that I was diagnosed with in my early 20s. So I'm here almost 20 years later, and I've not had to go on a medication since. And I was on like six different medications to be able to just work, just get out of bed in the morning, just not have as much pain. And I've been more or less pain-free and been able to work since I really began to examine my own energetic body and the correlation between that and the nervous system. And that's why I do this work and have this podcast, because this awareness is so important. To have these tools and understanding of your nervous system and energetic body really does dictate your life. So, energy practices, they can be really subtle, like just taking a couple breaths, or they can be deeply regulating, like going into a trance-like state to go back and really um, unhinge the hold that experiences we've been through have on us. So they can be really subtle and very simple, like doing some very easy breath work, or they can be very transformational, like an ayahuasca experience, or whatever that means for you, however that looks for you. Everyone has their different ideas and experiences as to what is a big, groundbreaking experience and what is very subtle. So as the energy, I guess what I'm trying to say is as the energy body becomes more coherent, right, the signals from the nervous system is really going to be able to be received with more ease and more awareness and more intuitively, so that the physical body begins to flow into this state of ease, into the state of homeostasis. The breath is going to be able to deepen, the muscles are going to be able to soften, right? If you have fibromyalgia, your muscles are very tense. So looking at your energetic body might be a cue for you to find more ease in your day to day. So your thoughts are also going to be able to slow. You're not going to have that rumination. Your presence is going to return because you're not hyper vigilant. You're not constantly scanning for what might cause dis-ease or damage to you and your own body, mind, soul, spirit. So, what the takeaway from that little tangent was that your energy body really sends the signals and the nervous system interprets them. The body then responds. So, energy body sends a signal, nervous system interprets, and the body then responds. So, if you're having physical pain, you need to go back and check your nervous system, check the body's signal within your energetic body, and that should find you some more ease. That's my little hack as a former nurse as well. I can attest to this as well as someone with diagnosed autoimmune. So, when we're thinking about what does this mean, like Sarah, you're telling me all these things about how the physical body is affected by your energy body. What does this even look like? So when we think about the chakras, they're all down the midline. So is your vagus nerve, but that's a whole other tangent. So your chakras are down the midline of your body. It's no mistaking that your major organs are down the midline of your body too. You have your brain, you have your throat, think about your thyroid, you have your heart, right, which is your heart chakra. You have your solar plexus, which is your digestive system, right? So let's stop there. Your digestive system, it's your solar plexus. Think of it as the power plant of your body. It's where you digest life. So if you're going through something really stressful, say you're a runner, Think about before you go on a big run. If you're going to sign up for a race, what's the most common place for runners to run to before they run the race? The washroom. We're digesting that anxiety, that stress, that anticipation, that adrenaline through our solar plexus, and that's going to have a physical response of maybe needing to use the washroom. Maybe it's causing some tightness. Maybe it's causing flutters. The other thing is if we're in a state of constant, prolonged stress, that's going to have a physical effect on our body, which we're going to see ulcers. Maybe we're going to have um, irritable bowel syndrome. That's a huge one that I see quite often. Constipation is another thing. So there's always something that's moving through the body that can cause some kind of dis-ease if we're not careful, if it's prolonged. So that's where energy becomes really impactful on our body, but it can also become very serving and moving out of those states. So one story I like to share is about when I was nursing, we had this beautiful a lady come in, and she unfortunately was moving through her third round of antibiotics for a reoccurring chest infection, and she was just so frustrated. And she was yet again having the symptoms reoccur. This was maybe month two of this. And I asked her if I could just ask her a couple questions non-related to the symptoms, right, that she was currently experiencing. And I asked her if there was something in her life that happened around the time where she started to get these symptoms. Was there a significant life event that began around the same time or occurred around the same time where these symptoms began? And she's like, yes, I lost my husband. And I offered her my deepest condolences, and we began to speak about it. And I got curious. And what I found out is that she actually wasn't able to grieve her husband fully. She felt like a burden to her friends because many of her friends had already lost their husbands. So why should she remind them of that loss through her own experience? Her family was grieving as well, so she didn't want to be a burden onto any of her family. So she was holding all this grief in her heart. And what's around her heart is her lungs, right? Our lungs hold grief. And so we got to set her up with someone to speak to who could support her, who she could just really express herself through. And she came back 3 weeks later into the office. I didn't even recognize her. She was glowing and she was so grateful. And that for as long as I worked there, she never came back in with a chest infection. So if that doesn't show you how much our nervous system and our energy bodies are attached and correlated with our physical bodies, I don't know what is. So, yeah, that's my one of my favorite stories to share, and I hope she's still doing wonderfully. So, when I talk about intuition, which I do, we're just doing a little pivot here, but when I talk about intuition, and I've talked about intuition quite frequently, I'm really talking about the body's ability to receive and interpret subtle information. And the energy body is often the first place where intuition speaks, which is super important, right? Before logic, before thought, your intuition and your energy body needs to connect with one another. It's like when you've been maybe out walking and you had that hit of, oh my gosh, we need to get out of here, only to learn something was happening there moments later, or to take a different route to work and you found out that the route that you avoided that you've been taking every day, but today you felt like you really shouldn't and didn't, there was an accident that you would have been in possibly if you took that route. So your intuition is super important in how you move through life. And the energy body is that first place where intuition speaks. It's before that logical mind takes over. So it generally shows up really quietly. It's like a little pull, a little sense. It's a little whisper in the mind and the body. And when your energy body is clear and really coherent, decision making can feel so much simpler. I think especially for women, we just don't want to make any more decisions. We've been making decisions for everyone and factoring in so many different mental um, weight that our ability to really begin to interpret our intuition becomes clouded because we're so overwhelmed with everything going on. So when we're able to then tap into our energetic body and really begin to clear out that space, we're going to not be as overwhelmed with those decisions. We're not going to be forcing answers. You're really going to be responding to what your system already knows. But on the other hand, we have to factor in that unresolved energy doesn't disappear, it gets stored, right? We're like a Rolodex. Everything we see, hear, sense, smell, all the things are stored within that subconscious and within our bodies. So when experiences aren't fully processed, that energy can lodge itself into our nervous system and the body. And over time, this can show up as chronic tension, emotional overwhelm, mental fog, fatigue, or just simply on edge. Our nervous system stays in protection because it's still responding to energy and information from the past. And this is why we can logically know that we're safe, but yet still feel very unsettled. So clearing and aligning the energy body really does help those signals become clear. So if we want to become more intuitive, if we want to have a better sense of who we are as people and make decisions with more clarity, we really need to allow our energy body to get quiet, to become more at ease so that our body can feel more at home and our intuition it can become easier to hear, less clouded, less influenced by these external sources and these um, stored interactions we've had in the past. So in other words, when your energy is aligned, it feels calm, it feels clear, you don't doubt it. And when your energy body is in a bit of chaos, life can feel loud, it can feel really overwhelming. And this is why we need to practice some really gentle tools. And the one tool that I would like to talk about today is just breath, right? One thing that really shifted for me in my journey with autoimmune and stress and all things in life was just connecting to my breath. And it sounds very simple, but so many of us hold our breath and don't even know it. I'm still guilty of it. When I'm overwhelmed, I'm still holding my breath. So I just want you to take a moment and just notice how you're breathing. Be very honest with yourself. There's no prize here for being perfect. So just notice how your breath is. It's like, oh my goodness, I know mine because I'm talking is pretty high up in my chest. But if I take a moment, and I encourage you to do the same, just take a breath in and then really just exhale. I'll do it with you right now. We'll take a breath in. We'll just let that go. You just melt, right? The shoulders drop down. We maybe become heavy in our seat. So being able to do that, just that simple thing alone can really shift your world. Now, if we want to take it into the next step, you can let those eyes close. You can keep those eyes open, but take a conscious effort into breathing into the body and expanding it into your belly. Good. Out through the mouth. Let's do that one more time. In through the nose, nice and slow, into the belly. And then out through the mouth or even the nose. I'm a big nose breather, so I like to exhale through the nose as well. Taking it a step further, right? We're going down the train tracks, different stops here. We're on that next stop on the track. We're going to inhale in, but we're going to inhale into the back body. So we're going to consciously envision our breath moving into the body, into that back body, filling up our lungs, expanding back, and then out like an accordion. So let's try that together. Inhaling in. Good. Expanding the lungs and then filling into the back. And then exhale, maybe sigh. Let's try that a few more times. Inhale. And exhale. And you can take it a step further as well by doing some weighted breathing. I like to do this when I'm particularly feeling anxious. I'll put some light weights onto my chest. I'll lay on my back and I'll do that deep accordion breath, I call it, into the side and back body. And I'll move through about 12 nice deep breaths that way until I feel at ease. My nervous system will start to relax, and I feel this by my hips will just kind of release. So maybe my knees fall to the sides. Maybe my hands just all of a sudden open a little bit more. Maybe I feel like I need to close my eyes and my jaw to relax. So just moving through these next steps. The other breath that I love to do is lion's breath. If you're familiar with yoga, this is one that when I'm in traffic and I'm driving on maybe the 401 or multiple lanes of traffic, I'll take a deep breath in and I'll stick my tongue out and exhale, and it's just all my anxiety switches away. If I'm angry and I need a mama time out, I'll go into the washroom, I'll shut the door, I'll breathe, and I'll do like 3 rounds of lion's breath, sticking my tongue out as far as I can as I compress my diaphragm to really shoot that breath out and release. So try those today, see how they work. You can also do different energetic clearings and visualizations. I have many videos on how to do that, walking you step by step through different techniques for resetting, creating boundaries, allowing ourselves to find ease within our body energetically, emotionally, and physically. So today, I am been so grateful that you are here today. Remember these small repetitive steps that you can do, just simply one breath before you walk into the house or as you're walking into the house after work today, maybe before you go into the grocery store. And I really want to encourage you to notice the subtle shifts over time, right? Baby steps, small steps are still steps forward. Rome wasn't built in a day. We don't need to make big, fast, rapid shifts to have results. Take your time, let things integrate. Your energy body is so important. And again, if you would like to learn more, I have a 7-day energetic clearing and reset that is set to launch next week, the third week of January. It is a self-guided 7-day energetic reset so that you can create more spaciousness, not only in your energetic body, but your physical body, your mind, and your home, because our homes so much reflect our body and our mind and our soul. So I hope you have a beautiful day. Don't forget to like, share, save, follow. Thank you so much for being here. I'm so grateful for you. Take care.